Welcome to my favorite corner in the whole universe, currently, in this season. I'm following flow, following energy, creating what I feel like to create, whether it's sunset or not. I'm just getting feelings of stretching in my being because it's almost 1 o'clock and I haven't finished my morning routine yet. This is my end of my morning routine. As I cover my day, I really allow, Jesus to take over my mind, take over my thoughts. And it's just so important for me to cover my day because my human thoughts are so rampant and they just go where they want to go. So I feel like this moment here is like this shepherd dog that's like wrangling all the sheep of my thoughts and bringing it back to center. And so one of the sheep that is running away from me is feelings of guilt and shame because I haven't finished my morning routine and it's almost 1 o'clock and I'm feeling the stretching of you should have already been working right now. I'm feeling the stretching of experimenting with the idea that you're most creative in the morning. I'm just feeling like, oh, you haven't been productive yet, whatever the case may be. Capitalism, that's what I'm feeling, stretching in me right now. Just feelings of guilt that like, wow, it's already past noon and we haven't gotten to work on the business or whatever the case may be. And that's the human thoughts. That's the little sheep that's out there doing its thing. But, the shepherd dog's bringing me back, and just reminding me like, this is the work. This is the undoing of that mindset. This is the life that you actually want to live. You want to live a life, and you do live a life where you want slow mornings. I've been up since 7 o'clock. I've done my stretching. I meditated for 30 minutes. I cooked a delicious breakfast. I took a shower. I put lotion all over my body. What else I do? I'm having my coffee right now. I've sat in the sun. And I feel like so poured into myself. So filled. And now I'm about to cap it off with being in my favorite place in the whole world. And transparently, I'm about to have a meeting at 1 o'clock, another meeting at 2 o'clock, and another meeting at 3 o'clock. And I just feel like I'm literally presenting the best version of myself, so filled to be able to pour into them, so grounded to be able to listen to them, and so present that nothing else matters. And so just acknowledging this stretching of what was and what is and what will be and what we're working towards, like for me to alleviate my ego's guilt and shame that it's noon. What is time anyways? And having to remind myself that there's Einstein time and then there is, I can't remember the word, but you can Google it because you're a smart person. I think it's like Smithsonian time, something like that. But it just talks about how Einstein time is very linear, right? Like it's chronological order. It's 24 hours in a day. It's 12 hours or 12 months in a year. It's 365 days, whatever. But then there's this other way of tracking time where time doesn't exist. That today on a Thursday at 12:30 p.m. is the same as a Sunday at 4 a.m. somewhere else in the world, now that I think about it. And so now this brings me back to a thought that my friend Dania sent me a reel that said that we're all in different time zones, that no one is ahead or behind. You're in a different time zone. So that's just making me think about, ironically, my friend and roommate last night asked me, what's the time difference between here and the Philippines? And I said 12 hours. They said, well, that's going to be rough. I was like, is it? What's 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.? What's unraveling for me in this moment right now is the concept of time. I'm allowing it to permeate in my spirit. And it's bringing up emotions. I can't quite pinpoint why right now. Just allowing them to happen. Not feeling embarrassed or ashamed that it's happening. Why is this pinging for me? What is it about time that's pinging? When I breathe in, I imagine myself just breathing in life force, breathing in the spirit, knowing it's the same breath that's breathing into everyone else right now, breathing into the trees and the animals and the plants and the ocean. It's the same force, the same being that's circulating in me, and that no matter how much I breathe in, eventually I have to breathe out. So it makes me think that no matter how much I breathe in, we can only receive so much until we get to the point that we need to give back, to give out, to release. Imagine a life where we were just only receiving. And imagine a life if we were just only giving. It literally makes no sense. It's this circular rotating. I guess that's rotating, but it's this circular motion of giving and receiving, giving and receiving. And all that we do, and because I've given to myself so much this morning, I get to now pour into others into this afternoon. My human brain is still feels the thought is unfinished. What is it about time? What was I trying to get at? What was trying to be spoken to me? Trying not to feel and remember that you're here right now. Trying to come back to myself. Having feelings of urgency, of like, hey, you still need to do your daily devotional before you jump into this meeting. But I have to stay here. I want to stay here until I uncover what that was for me. Why did I get emotional thinking about time? Going back to what I was saying earlier, maybe that will jogged my memory. I was talking to my friend that between here and the Philippines, it's 12 hours in difference. That when it comes to time zones, no one is ahead or behind. It's just the sun rotating around us, the moon rotating around us circulating in orbit somehow, some way. And maybe what pinged for me is more so the truth. The truth that our spirits are just housed in these temporary vessels, these temporary bodies that we should take care of while we're here. And to be reminded that what's guiding these vessels is what's in here. And that if we want anything different, if we want a different reality, a different life, a different situation, a different personality, a different being, it all starts here, in this supercomputer that's connected to everything and everyone. And how important it is now more than ever to control it. Not control in a constrictive way. But I guess maybe it just goes back to that shepherd dog. To have that awareness that all of those sheep are just flocking around. To wrangle them back. Wrangle them back. Bring them back to center. Bringing them back to center. And maybe I just felt emotional because realizing that the one thing that motivates me in this life is death. But the only thing that would be dying is this body and this personality and this human experience. And that if it's all true and what they say that we transcend out of this, and we just go back to where we came from, back one with everything that's way beyond we can ever imagine. My human brain can't even fathom the furthest galaxies. Oh, gosh. So why worry? Why have fear? Why tremble? What can mere humans do to us? Other humans are not our enemy. It's this. It's the lack of discipline and control around this, and letting those sheep just run rampant and convince us that we're not worthy, and that we're not deserving, and that we're not enough. That's the true enemy. Nothing outside of us. And so we walk through our days thinking that it's others around us that we need to protect ourselves from. No. Gotta protect ourselves from ourselves. Our higher selves have to protect that part of ourselves from our human selves. Gosh, our human selves are so ridiculous. So ridiculous. Oh my gosh. But I'm so grateful to be able to identify and slowly become accustomed and aware of this ridiculousness. And that it's just all made up. It's just all made up. Because of all the programming. From all the programming. From everybody else. From everything else. From every system. From every structure. And that this is where the true freedom lies. But none of it matters. Not time or space. Or anything in between. Ugh. How to know this, but now have to embody it, to integrate it, to believe it, to walk it. We'll take the rest of this human life. But I'm so grateful that I can start sooner in this human life. And that if I'm given another 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, if I'm so lucky, to be able to serve from this full cup, to be able to give and receive from this full cup, and to have slow mornings and slow days. There's that thought. And to follow this ebb and flow of my energy, and to wake up when the energy wants to wake up, and to sleep when the energy wants to sleep, and to not have to take into account all the science and the gurus and the experts that they say to sleep 8 hours, to drink this much water, to get this much. Yes, take into account, because if they've done the research and have taken their time, their life to go study that, there has to be some truth to it. But the best part about it is that we get to take what we want and try and experiment, and we can leave the rest. And so now I'm just in this experimentation of just like not even setting my alarm, feeling so grateful that I can experiment during this time, that somehow everything has conspired for me to be able to experience and to experiment during this time, to reset myself, and come back to myself, and to try things that work for me. Not what everyone has been trying to put on us. Not what everyone else has been trying to convince us of. I get to try and work things that are for me. So I'm just feeling grateful, and again, this stretching and this unraveling and detaching and untethering myself to the beliefs that I'm not enough because I haven't been productive. I haven't produced anything with my hands or whatever. But to undo the shame that comes with having a slow morning, even though I feel so full now. To undo the guilt that I know that there's so many people who can't experience this right now. Who want to, who don't know how. And to feel why me? Why me? Why do I get to experience this right now? To not feel guilty to receive that. My goodness. That part. That one. That's a deep one. To feel guilty for having been given so much and undeserving, unearned, untransactional, all of these uns, and that it was just a gift. This is just a gift. It's not just a gift, it's a gift. To be given this moment, to be able to do this, to be able to experience this. And to not feel guilty that I didn't exchange anything. In physical form, at least. That it was a gift, and it's a gift to just receive it. Because I have to believe that I've given in other ways, that it's allowing me to receive in this way. That's the one that pings. Is to feel, what's the word? To feel worthy, right? To feel enough. To feel deserving of these gifts. And the stretching is to believe that being born and to experience this life is already a miracle, and that this life itself is the gift. Because Lord knows, being with these pets, oh man, I'm so grateful to not be a pet right now, or a tree or anything else. Like, I'm so grateful to be human right here, right now, in this moment in time and space and humanity, despite what it looks like out there. Oh, because even though it may look like there's so many problems, I feel so equipped and prepared and ready to help solve them. Because I've taken this time to listen, to do this work, to listen, to be trained by the voice higher than me, bigger than me, that knows way more than I ever will. To continue to be trained, like, to be its instrument, to be played into its grand master plan that we have no idea about. And yet it is only the beginning. And yet we haven't even scratched the surface. And yet I just feel this pull to help people get to this point. At least this point, just a step ahead. This point, to feel the stretching and the unraveling of all of these lies that have been put upon us. My gosh. And I'm just so grateful for truth to continue to percolate and to reveal itself. But it's so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. Been doing this for over 30 years. Just taking in these lies and these BS belief systems. But feeling so grateful that we can start again. We can try again. Right now. In this moment. But it requires work. It requires so much work. So much radical honesty with ourselves. So much radical responsibility. So much radical accountability that nothing out there can affect us to do this work right here. Let it be alarms to be on time to our meetings. And let it be alarms to break us out of the present moment. To ebb, add, and flow within this dimension and other dimensions, within reality and within the reality that we're creating. To be brought back into my body. To be reminded that this is why this is my favorite corner in the whole universe right now. 'Cause shit like this happens. And I get to show up on here and show you that this is actually what the work looks like. For me. This is what the work looks like for me. And to be able to share it unashamed, unembarrassed, and to be vulnerable and transparent, to release all of that right there in front of you. If anything, I feel so much lighter. And now I get to bring myself back to present. I still get a few minutes to cover my day. And then I get to go pour into others for the rest of the afternoon. If you're still here, take this moment Take a deep breath. And look up from your phone. And be curious. Be curious of what came up for you while witnessing another human being show just a snippet of their transformation. It's happening. I encourage you to look up from your device. Don't scroll on to the next video. Go get a piece of paper and write down your thoughts of witnessing this. And be curious about those thoughts. Be curious about those feelings. What's coming up for you? This may have rubbed some people the wrong way. This may have sparked something in some people. This may have opened some people's eyes, their minds, their hearts. Whatever it may be for you, I encourage you to look up from your phone. To look people in the eye. And if you feel so courageous, to look up at the sky. And just be curious. Be curious, be curious, be curious. Alright, y'all. I'll see you in the next video whenever it feels like it wants to create and exude and self-express. Alright. I love y'all. Talk to you soon. Bye now.